guys, it's Alex. So I'm super excited to be making this video because I actually made a video like this once I was done with my first year as a transfer student at UC Davis, and now I've actually graduated. So I've officially completed 2 years in the school, and I thought that because the video that was super helpful for a lot of you who messaged me and commented and really liked that video, I thought that a second video about my whole full 2-year transfer experience would be super helpful for you guys. So I hope that you enjoy this video, and if you do, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. And yeah, let's get started on with the video. Okay, you guys, so I actually have a little post-it note that I put right below my camera because I want to hit 4 different categories or points that I really want to focus on that I thought would be the most helpful. So I really hope that this video is super helpful for you guys. That is my main concern, that this is actually helpful for you guys. So the first thing that I actually want to talk about is paying for school. I don't know how to categorize this, but basically I just want to explain for those of you that are either want to transfer or want to go to school but can't afford it or stuff like that. I just want to go over my little situation about how I was able to pay for school. So first of all, I was a transfer, so I had the chance to go to community college and save up a lot of money for myself for school. So that's what I did. I didn't want to put that weight on my parents, even though they're super willing to help with school and stuff like that. So I decided to save a lot of money before I transferred. And every single summer I just worked every single day for the whole entire summers, and that was super helpful for me because I got to save a lot of money. And I actually did this just babysitting. So where I live, there's a lot of babysitting opportunities, and it's actually pretty good, pay rather than a retail that you would get paid $50 and stuff like that. So that's how I saved my money, and I would really advise doing that if you are going to transfer or going to go to school in any way, because I feel like this is a time where you want to become more independent either way. So even if your parents are willing to help you and are willing to support you, I think it's super helpful to be able to manage and kind of handle saving up money for yourself for things you want, because once you're in college there's a lot of expenses that you'll have to pay for. So I definitely advise that. So based on the income that my parents made, I got to not have to pay for school as much, but I still paid for the first semester or so. And I think a mistake that I made that I wish I hadn't was selecting a meal plan. I originally thought that that would be super helpful for me, but that was not the best choice for my personal situation because I lived kind of far off of campus in the first year, which I'll go into the living situation as well. But there are also a lot of scholarship applications that you can do and go through while you're in the school. So there are a lot of chances like that, and also sites that are sites that are not part of the school also are super helpful in getting scholarships like that. I'll try to link the one to the UC Davis scholarship applications and also other sites that are pretty good for scholarships. So that is my little snippet on paying for school and stuff like that. So the next thing that I want to talk is about the living / apartment dorm situation. So for my first year, if you guys haven't watched the video, I actually have a little tour. I call it an apartment dorm tour, I think. I'll link that down below. So basically, once I transferred, I lived in Arlington apartments. So these are the apartments that are actually part of the school, but they're the farthest away from the school. Facebook is super helpful for joining in groups about the school or stuff like that. So I would definitely recommend having a Facebook for that. And so for me, my experience with finding roommates in a living space and stuff was that I actually took too long with this, and I got really lucky that a girl reached out to me, which became my roommate for the last 2 years. She reached out to me and she actually asked if I wanted to join their little group of living together. So there was already, I think, 5 of them. I think there was 5 of them already, and so I might have been the 6th one, I believe. This was a couple years ago. or like a year ago, but I have super bad memory. But so there was a group of us, and I said yes, of course. Like, I don't have any roommates or anybody, so I would love to like live with you guys. Can we like get to know each other and stuff like that? Okay, so all of us actually started to bond and stuff like that over like messengers, stuff like that, and that's how we communicated. And so the way that you get to pick like an apartment or like a place within the school is actually through a system where you have to, starting at a certain time, you all have to be together and like select and find like which one you want on the specific site that they send you. So there's like a specific time that everything starts, and things go really quickly. Well, apartment and spaces go really quickly, so people are there super early, they wake up super early and they start going on the site and they select which ones and the roommates and stuff like that. So I would definitely suggest, if you do have a group, you have to all be on the site like together. For us, it was kind of hard since we weren't obviously living super close, and I woke up, I remember, super early, and I was on my laptop for a while, super stressing, and it was really stressful moment because like you're trying to get like the best and closest apartment to the school, but those are the ones that go fast, and also we were trying to accommodate all of us in an apartment, so it was hard. If you have a big group, it would be kind of tough. I mean, it's possible, I guess you could say, but it's kind of tough. Since we decided to stay together, we got the farthest apartment, but we managed to stay together and live together. So I shared with somebody else, with my roommate, and then I think another two girls shared a room as well, and then two girls each had their own room. So that's how it worked out. So for my second year as a senior, I believe, I actually moved out, and I moved out with two other roommates. So one roommate that was already somebody that I shared the room with, and also another roommate which I had met. So it was the three of us, and we actually lived in Sycamore Lane. So if anybody knows about Sycamore Lane, they're actually pretty nice apartments, but this obviously didn't come furnished. So the rent was about the rent was about 400, almost 500 each, and this was only in one room. So we shared one room between the three of us, and also this all depends on your income and how much you saved or how much your parents can help you with. My situation was I had to share a one bedroom with two other girls. So that was my experience, and that was a pretty nice apartment. I really liked it, and it was small but really good. I think it was just having one bedroom. It would have been nice for each of us to have our own space, but other than that, it wasn't a bad experience. And the good thing about Sycamore Lane, the reason that it was, I guess you could say, expensive, because three of us were in one room and paying like $500, was that it was super close to campus. So being it super close, the more close that it is to campus, the more expensive the apartment or room is going to be. So it was, I guess you could say, pricey for the fact that it was super close. But I literally lived, like, I would walk every single day. Yeah, I walked every single day to class and to my building and to school. So it was super convenient for how close it was. And then next, I'm going to be talking about classes and major. So I graduated as a design major. So that is its own story. I could do a whole video about that if anybody's interested. I had a hard time, a little fear, like stepping into the school, as like their design program being so broad kind of like scared me, because I used to be very focused on graphic design alone, and I didn't know if that was going to be the best school for that major. It was a really good experience, and I'm really glad that it was a broad program because it let me to find my focus within design. I was personally really interested and focused on like UI UX and coding and graphics, Illustrator and stuff like that. So that's mainly the classes that I got to take and that I wanted to take, which is good because you get to pick those classes. You don't have to take, like, I didn't have to take a class in fashion design, which was nice because that's not something I would have wanted to do. So that's the plus to it. And the design program is not very big, but it is pretty nice. The teachers for the most part are really good, really nice, and I had a good experience overall, so that was pretty good of an experience for me. I'm really glad that I went there, so I don't regret choosing the school for my major. Yeah, so when you're a transfer student, I guess something else that I can talk about is the classes that do transfer over to the school. You should definitely make sure that the classes that you think transfer over to that specific school are correct, because it kind of varies for schools, and also some might not even transfer. You might still have to take a class at the school that you're transferring to. At least for me, like, I still had to take Design 1 when I transferred. Like, that's a must for everybody, no matter what. Like, you have to take Design 1. So that's prerequisites like that. Like, I would really make sure to like go through and make sure with your counselor and stuff like that. If you guys have any specific questions, just like let me know. So the last thing I would want to talk about is like the social life at the school. So personally, I feel like when you're transferring or going to a new school, I feel like it's super important to join organizations or clubs or stuff like that. I feel like that really makes you feel at home at the school. So I was able to find PSA, which is the Peruvian Student Association, and I'm actually Peruvian, so for me that was a really good experience. And I didn't think that out of all places I would find this club at UC Davis. That itself brought a lot for me as like my friendships and social life, because that opened a lot of doors for me in terms of making new friends and like having like more people to study with, and like we went on a trip. Like, it just really opened the door for me. Okay, that's weird. But it just really opened the door and helped me feel like right at home there. So it was super cool. I really recommend joining like some kind of club organization or something. So I definitely recommend that, and everybody was super nice. From my perspective, my first year, I felt like it was very diverse, the school overall, because I was in this, you know, like community. Being Latina, I felt like that was a really good experience for me, and that made me feel like the school itself was very diverse. But I know that that was because I was always like in the student community center, like where everybody, like there's like all kinds of like organizations in there. So there's like different like places you can study, and they're basically like LGBTQ, or they're like Hispanic involved. That's a very diverse little area, but I know the school has a lot more work to do, whereas being diverse. Yeah, so that was a really good experience for me. I ended up being on board this past year as the marketing chair, so I got to work with other clubs and like do a lot more things. I didn't really do sports like professionally, obviously, like, well, not professionally, but I guess like, you know, like college sports, so that's not really my area. But there's also, I believe, like little soccer and volleyball teams that you can make, which I actually did soccer with the club. So we signed up for soccer and we played. I think I played for a semester, not a semester, but like 2 quarters or one, which was super fun. So I definitely recommend doing stuff like that. They're not ones that require you to like actually like be super good at it or anything. Like, I'm not a soccer person, but I played. I didn't join any sorority just because that's not something I was really focused on. But obviously if you want to, I know that that is a process. I had a friend who did join or try to join, and I know it was a long process, so it's a process for sure. But obviously you can still get into those parties without having to join a sorority or fraternity. Actually, at least for girls, you can. Like, I went to a few and they're pretty crazy parties. I did go to a few, and obviously I got to go to house parties and stuff like that, and even like parties that were like my friends or like around my area. Like, everybody, I think staying connected was a good thing through like Facebook or stuff like that. People met and they ended up like even creating a chat that was just for transfer students of 2019 or something like that. And groups on Facebook as well, so that kept it like everybody updated. Oh hey, like there's a party at blah 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 or blah blah blah. So that was helpful. So college overall, I would say, was a good experience for me. I feel like the past 2 years I've grown a lot, and I just was having this conversation yesterday, but I feel like I have really grown a lot, and I feel like it's a growing experience for overall everybody. So if you are going to college soon, and especially like this fall, like I'm so excited for you. Like walk in there, like move out with a move into this new place, into this new school with a positive attitude. Like, don't be focused on how scared you are from being away from home or anything like that. Like, keep your mind open and you're going to have a really fun time, but also don't forget about school. I would advise, like, just be ready to grow a lot, but also I feel like people might think that growing is a bad thing, but it is not. I think we are constantly growing every single day, and you should not feel bad for growing. Yeah, so that's overall my little experience, I guess you could say, for the last 2 years that I wanted to mention to you guys, just in case you guys needed some like insight or anything. But also, things I would advise if you're transferring to UC Davis or thinking about is downloading the applications. So Canvas has an application, the UC Davis alone, or UC Davis Mobile is is an application. Wildfire is super helpful to knowing what is happening. Signing up for a Warn Me alert is also super good and helpful. And yeah, overall I think my experience was super nice. I really loved the school. I loved the friendships that I made, and I'm glad that the major for me was broad in the school. So I wouldn't have changed my school option. I really wouldn't. I love it. I love how distant it is from home, but how close. So I think that I grew a lot. I was able to I was able to become more independent. I was able to grow a lot. I was able to make beautiful friendships. I was able to obviously learn things at school. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't. If you guys have any specific video topics that you guys want me to talk about, whether it's like specifically just my major, my experience, the projects that we did, or anything, either message me, or if you want it as a video, just let me know and comment it, leave me a message, send me a message, DM me. I reply to pretty much everything, so definitely do that. And I will talk to you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys!